Hi there, it's Kareem Habibi from Keeper's Nursery. Today is the 24th of August 2025 and I'm going to do a video about the early season apples this year. I know I do lots of videos about sort of me walking through the nursery. Hopefully it's useful to you guys, but yeah, every year is slightly different. I think everyone who grows fruit or veg knows that, especially with an apple where it takes such a long time for them to ripen. You just either get rain, you get sun, you get cold. Stuff's different each year, so hopefully it's useful. We're going to start with, there's a spider on this apple, there's Blackstone's Fortune. So nice big pretty apple, not my favourite, someone's favourite once upon a time probably. It is good. I should probably produce some of these. It has relatively tough skin. It's just like a pleasant sweet apple, like lightly sweet, lightly floral. I actually rate this now. Loads on the floor under this tree. Yeah, I'm happy with this actually. But there's a lot to see, a lot else to see. This is the Dolgo crab. So this is when they start going very, very dark, and they've got lovely bloom on them. This is starting to go a bit grainy. It is a nice crab apple. This is scrumptious. So usually has an aniseed flavour to it. It's nice, it's okay. This over here is the John Downey crab apple, which is I think it's nicer than Dolgo. It's quite a large crab apple. It has quite a strong flavour to it, quite an interesting flavour, acidic, slightly fruity. My children love these if I bring loads. And when I say it's a large crab apple, there are other crab apples that are quite big. For example, this is the Wisley crab apple, which is a good, interesting crab apple to have as well. Lovely pink blossom. You get smaller ones. I mean, these are sort of, this is royalty. You get all sorts of very sort of ornamental crab apples. You can still do stuff with these. I mean, once a crab apple's this small, you're not really going to eat it. That one there was Golden Glow, slightly more ornamental than, for eating. This is what I'm all about. Lord Lambourne's not ready yet, so I'm hopefully going to cover some new territory. This is the fantastic Sunrise. So this is the Canadian Sunrise apple. Very, very crisp apple. Not that one actually, there are better ones. Let's try this bigger one. Generally speaking, you should pick the bigger specimens, not the small ones. That is perfectly ripe right now. So it's quite a mild flavour to it, which is good. It's completely inoffensive to anyone who doesn't like, who wants a very refreshing apple, let's say. It could have more flavour if you're into things like coxes and russets. It's not got enough flavour, but the crispness and the juiciness is sort of unparalleled. It is fantastic. I've always been fond of that apple. There's none of these left. This is red Joe netting. You can see they're on the floor now. They've even started going completely brown. This will be, that's gone. Oh, and in these bags are where I've sort of bred. So these are Vista Bellas crossed with Beth Ann. So that's my early apple. So I should actually start harvesting the seeds. Vista Bella is completely ripe. This is a lovely strawberry flavoured apple. It gets a lovely dark sort of bloom on it. I doubt this is even worth eating, but that's gone soft. So, like with a lot of early season apples, very short window for picking them. This here is Gravenstein, which is ripe as well. So Gravenstein's an interesting early apple. It's quite big and blocky. I've been fond of it. I mean, there are better apples. It almost has a sort of, you know, it's trying to sort of have a developed sort of balanced, rich flavor towards something like a Cox. I mean, compared to a Sunrise, it's got more acidity and slightly more depth, but I mean, for an early apple, it's decent. For a later season apple, it would just sort of be lacking, but it's very sort of, it's quite dense, not too juicy, compared to the Sunrise as well, which I don't like as much. I mean, it's very, very white fleshed as well, but it's a good apple, Gravenstein, if you want an early apple. I certainly know that it's grown a lot in other countries. So Lady Suitedly, these are one of these ones, these early apples that go waxy. You can see that one's gone very, very waxy. That's too ripe now, so you know, you can tell that that's gone. It's another one of these early apples that's quite hard to pick, because you want to pick them just before they go super duper waxy. A very pleasant sweet flavor, not enough juice, so you lose out. It's nice and crisp, but it's only crisp for a short period, and overall the lack of juice, I think, takes away. But it is a gorgeous apple. It's a stunning apple to look at. Yeah, you can see lots and lots of potential future seedlings in there. Hopefully I've calculated that I have enough bags. So this is a sensational apple, I think, this dinky little guy. This is Del Prim. So relatively, I mean, there's loads on the floor now, you know, relatively pretty. It's a small apple. The shape isn't particularly attractive. I'm just, you know, in my opinion, it is, I mean, it's red, but other than that, it's not got anything going for it. You can see on the sort of the eyes sticking out, that's never as attractive, but it's a really nice early season apple. I always like these. It's juicy. It has a warm sort of apple juicy flavor to it. Yeah, and overall, it's not too acidic. It's not boring to eat. You know, I'm critical, early apples aren't great, but this is good. There's one here to try. So that's Duchess's favourite. Again, one that I'm never totally convinced on. Slightly acidic. Interesting. It could have more sweetness and more. It is dense as well, but very pretty. Looks a lot like a sort of Red Delicious. Moving on, so Epicure is quite a nice early apple. I don't know if this one's ripe yet. Loads and loads in there, but I think these dinky ones in here aren't even going to have seeds in. That can happen. It's cropped a lot. I should have thinned this out, but people like me don't thin out the crop. So what's nice about Epicure is it's got a nice long stalk on it. A relatively pretty apple. It's sort of pinky inside. Yeah, it's nice. It's pleasant. It's sort of sweet, crisp. Again, children would love this. Love it to pieces. It's not got enough sort of balancing, in my opinion. That's just me being quite harsh. I think most people would actually really enjoy this apple. Yeah, I mean, definitely I would finish this if I wasn't going to film it and try and eat all the apples in the world. This is Irish peach here. Irish peach, it's probably gone a bit soft. Yeah, it's going soft now. Yeah, it's okay. It's gone too soft. It's a decent early apple to have in your arsenal. So if you want something super duper sweet without any acidity, Molly's Delicious is very nice. Kind of an unusual looking apple. It's all sort of lumpy. But if you don't mind that, you know, if you're into sort of odd looking apples, this is great. Much sweeter than anything I've had so far, but not offensively sweet. This one actually tastes a lot like cola bottles, so it has a flavour to it, but not much acidity. I do like that apple a lot. I think the kids like it as well. I think. I don't think they know what exactly yet what all the different varieties mean. This one here is a very well-known apple. This is Discovery. Big sort of popular early season apple. Generally one you can bank on. It's quite reliably good. Sort of pinky inside. It has a fruity flavor. The skin has a slightly acidic thing about it. It has quite distinct flavor actually for me. This reminds me of a summer apple. If you imagine something like a Vista Bella, or it has that slight Vista Bella-y flavor, but not as pronounced a strawberry flavor to it. But yeah, it's a very reliable apple, Discovery. I do recommend growing these as well for summer apples, and because it's pinky inside, you know, I'm sure people enjoy sort of processing it as well, because you end up with pink juice, let's say. There is obviously the other one called Rosette, which is the red sport of that, which is, I can show you later. This is Baker's Delicious. A very pretty red color, I'd like to think. It's sort of like a Liverpool football shirt. A very classic apple flavor. It is quite a tough apple to bite. It's not super juicy, so you have to sort of chew it a lot, but a very pretty apple still. It's Baker's Delicious. So eventually I will prune all these back, because this is all the new growth. We don't need all the new growth anymore. I've pretty much finished all my chip budding. Let me find a label. This is Miller seedling, yeah. So I've finished all my chip budding. So all of this growth, this lovely new growth, very useful for chip budding. I don't do much whip and tongue winter grafting, so I don't need it anymore. So I prune everything back each year, because otherwise this place would be overgrown. So Miller's seedling, another very good early season apple in my opinion. It's just a very pretty sort of pink color. Very sort of, you don't really get that color later in the season where it's sort of whitish with the pink, basically because you don't get the sort of whitish base color on a lot of later season apples. That's quite unusual. You know, completely no russet on it. So pleasing sort of pinky reddy, sort of pinky prawn looking sort of thing. Yeah. Very light, very juicy, pretty much, well, no acidity really, slight sweetness to it. I think this, I'm not big on the sort of the Russian Eastern European sort of white transparent Antonovka type apples, but might be wrong, but this is very similar. I need to, if you're Russian or Eastern European, have you tried Miller seedling? It's early, it stays firm for a bit as well, which is quite good, but it's very, very light. A good apple to have, I think, because it looks good. I'll try and find Melba later as well. I remember that as being a nice early season apple to try as well. Who are you? Who are you? This one sadly has died. This is the Pigeonette de Rouen. Oh, okay. That one is. Oh gosh, what is that called? Purpurot Croissant. I don't know. It is ripe. Oh, there's the label. Purpurota Cousinot. It's either from Holland or from Germany. Tastes like orange sweets. Texture's not amazing. Tough skin. Pass. Worcester pearmain. So this is another early apple. We're a bit early for it, but I'll pick it anyway. People call them Worcesters around here. There's Merton Worcester as well, but this is the Worcester pearmain. It's sort of, in my opinion, sort of an apple that classically would have been thought as a very pretty apple, but I prefer things that don't necessarily look like this, and I'll relate it to this, but this is something that sells quite well in Britain, well known. It's a very sweet flavour, pleasant. It's not fully ripe, but yeah, it's nice. It's the type of apple that, you know, would be a very nice sort of thing to have, because it's just a lovely sweet addition to your day. You know, this is what it is. It's a moment of your day. Check out this stunner. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Maybe not. There's a lovely spider's web there. It is completely intact, and there's the spider in the middle looking good. Oh, it's too small for the camera to pick up on. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. I still am suffering from this annoying cold. It's been weeks. Peacemaker. Lovely name for an apple, because, you know, everyone likes peace. I literally don't think you can't say you don't like peace. So I do laugh. There's a book I was reading where someone absolutely slags a lot of different, he slags off loads and loads of variety names, and he's like, oh, that's rubbish. Peacemaker's a lovely name. It's a nice name for an apple. Big apple, obviously a cooking apple. Has an interesting flavour though for a cooking apple. I'd eat that. I'll definitely use it. Come on, let's go. So Red Windsor's not going to be ripe yet. I'll try it anyway. Some years Red Windsor is banging. I think I've said that before on these videos. Some years it's rubbish, sadly. So the best way to tell if an apple's ripe, what is there on the ground? So this guy here is early Julian. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Don't look great. It's weird. Texture is quite good and crisp and juicy. That's what the spider's thinking. It's acidic, but like not bad. I would, I think kids would like that. Oh gosh, Skovfoged. This is called Skovfoged. It's going to be rubbish as well. You can tell. Look how soft that is. I'm not even going to eat that. Sorry, Skovfoged. Look at me with all my apples and I'm criticising them. That one's actually too ripe. That one's too ripe as well. I'm actually stalling because I'm trying to find the label of the apple. And it's on the other side. Oh, that's George Cave. Okay. Some people like that, so I did a little burp there. little windy pups. Let's go in. There's great camera work. That's too ripe. Not going to eat that. This one here is, again, he tries to stall for time. Oh, Devonshire Quarrenden. I think this apple's, interesting to look at. There's already a smell of sort of vinegary cider under these because there's so many apples on the ground here, so it's warm and you sort of, even with my cold I can smell that. It's quite good. It reminds me of, it does actually remind me of summers in the past. Oh, that's gone. If you're a fan of Devonshire Quarrenden, I'm sorry I've not sold it, but it's gone basically. It's too ripe. Who's this red guy? That's Red Devil. That's a Hugh Erman apple. It's not ready yet. It's one of these ones with red flesh in. Not ready yet. The Kentish Pippin. Apparently this is ripe. I picked some of these for my kids the other day because it's kind of golden, but not a russet. It's just sort of. It's like there's bruising under the pale skin. That's quite good actually, the Kentish Pippin. Lovely long stalk on it. Good shape, good. Very unusual sort of, don't know if you can quite see it, sort of a very golden but not russet. There aren't many apples that are that sort of tan colour. It looks like my skin colour. No, it doesn't, but it is an unusual colour. This is Orkney, so I'm assuming that's from the Orkney Isles in Scotland. Big apple. So they'd once call a big handsome apple. With an interesting, nice flavour to it. So the skin is too tough and the texture's not on, but other than that, it's interesting. I mean, it's not interesting for late season apples, it's interesting to eat today. This is Thal Pippin, little thing. There's fiery stripes to it. I like that. Nice little dense thing. It just tastes like an apple you would find growing somewhere. A solid, would I even call it a 3 out of 5? Maybe not. This is Norfolk Royal. Look at that shape. So that shape, when you add russet to that, when a mutation occurred and this to one branch of one of the trees somewhere, I don't even know where the original Norfolk Royal russet was, this apple is very, very mediocre in my opinion. I don't know who it was named after, the Norfolk Royal, but when it became Norfolk Royal russet and there was a mutation, it's a game changer, that apple. I absolutely love the Norfolk Royal russet. So this is the Merton Worcester. I know we tried the Worcester pearmain earlier. This is the Merton Worcester, which, I mean, there's a Merton's in London for those of you. I don't actually know where. I think Merton's sort of like south posh London somewhere. I think there was just a nursery there and they bred loads of things and they literally named everything Merton. So you get the Merton cherries like Merton Glory, and there's loads of other Merton things. As a nursery, you can, if you are breeding, you can just name everything. I could name everything Kareem's. Oops. Wow, I got that. Kareem something, or I could call it Keeper's something, Keeper's early, Keeper's late, Keeper's favourite, Keeper's best. So Laxton did that as well. So there's Laxton's favourite, Laxton's early, all these things. Laxton's early market. It's pretty boring. But obviously it means that everyone knows that you're the boss dog. You make all these apples, you breed. I mean, unless you know all my family members' names and friends' names, you won't know who's bred my apples, but that's the exciting thing. So also you should name varieties, I think, with a bit of description. So to be fair, if you call it Laxton's Early Market, that's actually quite a useful name. It sort of says, you know, Laxton's did this, and it's the early market variety. Or Laxton's favourite means, I assume that was his favourite. Or Laxton's superb means it's superb. And use all the different superlatives so that Laxton's best. Like, you know, you can name everything, you know, after these sorts of things. Anyway, Merton Worcester. If you're not quite ready, but that's a really nice apple. And just, that's really nice. That's a sort of pleasing apple flavour to it. Good bite, not too crisp, not too soft. That's a solid 3. That's a good apple. I think this is Empire. We've got a rubbish little crop on it. These go much darker, odd looking apple. I mean, that's not normally what they look like. This won't be right, but oh yeah, there's Laxton's rear guard. Goodness knows what a rear guard is. It's not a word I've used before. That's Alchmini. So Alchmini is the non-red version of Red Windsor, which is Red Alchmini. That was a trademark name. Look at all these apples. Yeah, and we're back. So yeah, it's still quite green here, although you can see it's very dry, and you can see all these leaves on the ground. Sadly, we have had a very dry summer here. Actually, I'm not sad. I'm not sad about the dry weather. It's actually been, we've had enough rain here, exactly in East Farley, but wherever I've seemed to have driven around England, I mean, everything's just brown and pretty dead looking in terms of grass. Grass grows before trees, but yeah, I mean, the country's very dry right now. We'd like our rain back. If anyone knows where our rain's gone, bring it back. But I've got away with it here. We had about 40 millimeters of rain about a month ago, and that really topped everything up. All the grass was very brown before that, or going brown, but now it's all green. Especially the I haven't mown the grass for ages, which is a good thing. But yeah, all the weeds that have got longer roots, like I didn't even check what that was. All the weeds that have got longer roots are doing really, really well, and they're like, this is great, no one's cutting us, and I need to go and cut them back. I will do that later today because I've just finished chip budding. Sorry, this is Elton Beauty. It's a very pretty apple, to be fair. If you call something a beauty, that's, you're allowed to call that a beauty. That is a very pretty apple. All of these apples are very pretty. You know, that's what apples should look like. They look lovely on there. So, is it good to taste? It's not called Elton's Delicious. Very white, very tough skin. A bit chewy. Meh. Not amazing. Yeah, anyway, it's I think hopefully we'll get rain soon. Who knows? Who knows? Look at these nice looking things, eh? Squish, squish. We've missed you, or have we? Gladstone. Yeah, this is an early apple. Yeah, it was the yeah, I don't eat these often. That's gone soft, but very fruity flavour to it. Sorry, I just choked a bit there. Yeah, the last one I'd say was definitely, this is Captain Kidd, this is great. The last one I tried, it was quite peachy in terms of the flavour, which was interesting. This is an apple called Cheddar Cross. That's gone. Oh, that one looks good. Come on, come on, come on. Why can I not reach you? There we go. Cheddar Cross is interesting. I heard about it. I mean, I've had the tree for ages, but I heard there's a sort of French-English, Anglo-French, let's call him, TV celebrity chef called, I don't know, let's call him Pierre. I can't actually remember his name. Oh, it's gone. Raymond Blanc, that's it, not Pierre. I'm really sorry if that's quite offensive. Raymond Blanc. He mentioned this on a radio program about apples. He wrote a book about an orchard, and that was his like angle. You know, when TV chefs have got an angle and they come and they're like, "Ooh, you should grow your own fruit." You know, no one's done that yet. So I'm going to be the fruit guy. So he sort of grew this old orchard, and he mentioned this one. So when I heard it on the radio, I thought, you've mentioned that variety. Literally no one in the country grows that. But then obviously his angle is like, oh, this is unusual. No one would have mentioned this. I was thinking, I'm probably the only person in the country producing these. I don't blinking well know much about this variety. So I tried it last year. It was probably on a video, and I did like it. It's a pretty apple. He was raving about it like it was like the greatest apple ever. I thought, don't say that. That's going to fool everyone. People will actually you have a voice, and now they're all going to think that this is good. It's like if Monty Don says something is the best, everyone goes out and tries to buy it. And if it's something obscure, no one can get hold of it. So you have a responsibility as a personality, an influencer, to sort of actually mention something that's quite good. That's why with the RHS, when we actually decide, I am actually on some round tables because I'm such big time now. I have to, if we give something an AGM an award of gardener's merit, that apple has to be, you know, good in all the sort of ways that are important to a gardener, but also it has to be available. It has to sort of grow well and all these things. So basically, if we go out and we say, this is amazing, you should buy this variety, well, we're sort of saying buy this variety. We're saying this is amazing, which suggests go out and buy this variety. We're not saying this is amazing, you know, don't buy it. We're saying this is amazing, hint, 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 go and buy it. And yeah, one of the main things is, hang on, is this actually available? Like, we actually rescind AGMs when, certainly with seeds, where things become out of production. So obviously with fruit trees, everything's cloned, so that's fine. Whereas with seed production, if it's a certain, you got to do all those crosses to come up with whatever new seed, and let's say they don't come true, and someone's got to painstakingly go and create the same cross over and over again. Yeah, if they stop bothering to do that because it gets replaced, we just strip it. So yeah, with this, or when we decide AGMs, they kind of look at me and like, Kareem, do you even make this? I'm like, I can do, but I don't. But yeah, obviously, give me 2 years and I can pump out hundreds of these. But yeah, anyway, back to Cheddar Cross, which is probably named after cheddar, the cheese. No, the place in the West. That is very nice. I think the texture's slightly gone, but overall the flavour for this time of the year is good. Is it sensational? No. Raymond, come on, mate. But it is nice. And it is a sort of pleasant, sort of peachy colour to it, pinky orange. Moving on, Tom Pot looks ripe. Tommy Pot. Can he pot? It's not a stunning apple, but it's pleasant enough to look at. No, it's just a bit acidic. Okay, interesting apple number one of the day. I've gone on about this apple a few times. I don't believe anyone else in the world knows about this apple. I'm sure someone else had it before us, but I've not found reference to it really anywhere. Although I think Joan Morgan mentions it now, but this is an apple called Young American, which is sort of like a crab apple. I mean, the leaves are a bit different. You can see I'm breeding a lot with it. Why am I breeding with it? I mean, firstly, it looks kind of funky. It's quite small. It's early, so there's a lot of potential there. In terms of flavour, it has got a very distinct pomegranate flavour. So that reminds me massively of like Persian cooking. We use pomegranates all the time because we're so cool and exotic. No, that was the fruit that obviously grew in Iran. You can grow apples in the sort of the north of Iran, where the mountains are, but pomegranates will grow elsewhere. And obviously Persian gardens had fruit trees in their gardens. We were sort of not the pioneers in that, but yeah, I mean, if you know anything about gardening, it's like, oh, the Persians were the ones who were like, oh, we're going to put fruit trees in our little square gardens with the water feature in. It was all sort of planned out, but this was Persian cooking. You use sort of pomegranate molasses. It's a very sort of interesting flavor because it's both sort of sweet and acidic, and when you cook Persian food or Iranian food, let's say, you want the sweet and acidity. There's no spice in it, as in spiciness. You do use spices, all sorts of like cinnamons and turmerics and things, but this reminds me a lot of, I guess, if you are Persian Iranian, yeah, you'd probably enjoy the flavor of this, because we tend to, like, I say they, sort of like my mum's generation, they really like the acidic stuff. They go nuts for it. We go nuts for it, sorry. But yeah, this flavor just reminds me of, it's not really something out there, but it just reminds me of the whole experience of the pomegranate, sort of adding pomegranate flavor to things. So there's a dish called khoresh de fesinjun, which is sort of slightly toasted walnuts ground down, and you mix that with pomegranate molasses. And this has that element to it. It is very interesting. Anyway, I'm breeding a lot with it because it's just interesting. I'm going to see in a few years what the seedlings look like. I've got loads of these seedlings, different things. Let's see what I've been breeding with. This one doesn't look like it worked. That was with Primrose Pippin, sadly. I don't know what that would be, some sort of early, late. So there's one with Bethan, which is my seedling. So those, anyway, I sell these young Americans. If you like obscure stuff, not obscure as in like weirdo, as in fun stuff with apples, interesting things, this will be your apple, for sure. Moving on, an apple which I think is an absolute stunner, a stone cold stunner. This is Benenden's Early. Benenden is a place nearby in Kent. I think there's a girls' school there. I played a tennis tournament there once. I like it as an early season apple. It hangs around on the tree quite a long time as well. It's very stripy. It's got russet on. Just really interesting. I think this is an interesting apple to look at. There's stuff going on here. In terms of flavour, I mean, it's pink inside. So it's that sweetish flavour. We've had other ones like this earlier today, like the Epicure. It's a classic summer apple. Tastes a bit melony. I like it. Bit watermelony. I'm happy with that apple. He says as he just chucks it on the ground. This guy's all squashed. Let's pull him. Let's rest. Oh, he's absolutely. He's jammed in there. So yeah, if you ever want to force apples, so this is what I think they do in Japan, where they sort of squish apples into squares and make square apples. But yeah, when you get an apple growing between branches, it's like the groove. You can sort of force apples to grow into a certain shape. No, I don't know. I've spun the camera around. Looking for a label. No good if I can't find out what you are. Hold on. Cool. So this is Duchess of Oldenburg, and it is ripe. So tastes a bit like beer, actually. That hoppy flavour. Interesting. It does actually taste a lot like proper beer, as in like ale, like a mild ale. Yeah, I like that. So this is an apple I rave about as well. You can see how ghostly white it is. There you go, there's my skin tone to compare it to. It can go pinky. So this is called Nuvar Golden Hills. Again, I do breed with it as well. So this was bred nearby here in Marden. I say Marden, was it Marden? No, it's not Marden, sorry, I beg your pardon. It was Staplehurst. But John Breach and that lot, his family. So it's a green sleeve seedling. It's just very pleasant. Again, that's quite melony. Great texture to it. It hangs around, it's a modern apple. It hangs around on the tree for a very long time. You can pick it now in August and pick it in September. You might even be able to pick it early October depending on the year, but it doesn't really change either. It doesn't go waxy, it doesn't go soft. So those are these Nuvar ones, but that's probably one of the best apart from Cheerful Gold. This handsome thing is Park Farm Pippin. I mean, it looks great, it's just not a great apple. Oh no! Well, these were the good ones. This is Riker Gold Rush. And the branch has got canker. You see? Oh, bumsies. Never mind. So, I'm going to take you to Seedling World. Let's try a few seedlings and then we're going to crack on with the other varieties that are ripe. This is the big Vistabella tree, which is completely overgrown. Oh, there is a Vistabella. Ooh. We tried Vistabella earlier, but this one, which has been in the shade, actually might still be good because it's basically not been allowed to ripen. I mean, look how dark it is under here. Thank you, tree. This is the last Vistabella of the year, so that's still got its crispiness. It's not got the richest flavour to it because it's been growing in the shade. It's not got the sun on it, but a lovely strawberry flavour to it. That is very nice. If you like an early apple, like very early August, try Vistabella. So these are all my seedlings on the left. It's completely overgrown. I should have planted these way further apart. I didn't. I should have pruned these back. I didn't. Get over it. I'm busy. I have too many children and not enough free time, and I'm still for some reason making a video instead of mowing all the grass. So you can see everything's kind of green, but yeah, there's loads of weeds and they seed, and who cares, because there are weed seeds everywhere. I looked at my neighbour's garden, I say garden, his field. It's literally just an entire field of weeds blowing in my direction, so it doesn't really matter if I don't weed. Those seeds are coming over to me anyway. I'm not upset, just whatever. Okay, so seedling 23. This is a very early one. This is a Kids Orange Red seedling. Has a lovely Kids Orange Red flavour to it. It's a little bit dry, but that flavour alone at this time of the year is something else. That has got the full pear drops flavour to it. It's not as good as a Kids Orange Red because it's slightly drier, but that's really, really good. Seedling 23. I haven't named this. I don't really sell it. I think I've even done videos here where I've just snapped trees of it because as an experiment, just to sort of show how tough I am. And you know, some trees make it, some trees don't, but that's actually pretty good. 39's in there. That's a really good one. There's not too much to try here. Again, when you do seedlings, you don't really know when they're ripe, so you just, when you breed seedlings, you just basically have to keep checking on them to make sure they're okay. So this is 67, and over the years I gave this 3323. For some reason I've written September. It's definitely ripe now. You can tell that because one of them has split. There's a noisy Spitfire aeroplane. So yeah, it's lovely bloom on it. I'm starting to sort of, once you start touching this apple, the bloom comes off. So if you want to shine it up, you can shine it up and it goes red. So look at the difference. once you shine it up. But I prefer it when it had its lovely sort of bluish bloom. That's actually a very, very good apple. Slightly chewy. Comparing it to what was growing there, so here there's about 150 seedlings. This is all random stuff. For an apple in August, late August, let's be honest, 24th, I think. If this was just growing there and I said, oh, this is called the Duke of, I don't know, England, I don't think anyone would bat an eyelid and be like, oh, okay, historically this was obviously a great apple. If you just plant seedlings, you come up with stuff that is indistinguishably as good as varieties out there. It's just, I was talking to Joan Morgan about this yesterday. The reason the varieties still exist out there is because at some stage where we were all more isolated and, you know, we couldn't access galas and pink ladies every single day of the year, in some nook, some tree grew quite well and it was a seedling, and people thought, okay, this is actually quite good, let's have a few more of these. And that was their apple, and they thought, oh, this is great, in this area this does well. And it wasn't really thought about that, you know, everyone in the country should grow the same thing until basically commercialization was taken over. So, you know, if you just were, you know, if you've got time, a few years, if you're not going to sort of move house or whatever, and you've got the space to sort of do 50 seedlings, let's say, do it, because it's great. All my videos show how to do it. I don't want it to be some sort of trade secret. You can absolutely whack them out. I reckon I can get the trees to fruit within 2-3 years. Definitely within 3 years, but within 2 years, which is a game changer. Everyone can just start breeding new varieties, you know, as a hobby. It's just the space, I suppose, but you know, what else are you going to do with your space? Anyway, this one's, let's go back to what it is, 67. I like 67. So next door there's also, and these are Riker seedlings, that's why the label says Riker. I don't know who Daddy was. This is the Ladybird one. This one is 72, which similar flavour, similar scores. You can see it's blue, a lovely bloom on it as well. Is it as good as 67? I mean, the apple itself looks slightly different. Again, the skin is quite thick, and it's got a richness to it, which is good. I like the richness of the flavour. Let me try this one again. That was one on the floor. So they do go soft eventually. That one's sweeter. This 72 is more acidic. But it's a really good apple, actually, that one. That's Hamid's Red Pippin. That was the first one that I actually named after Dad. So this one I named after my wife. This one is called Beth Ann, because obviously my wife's called Beth Ann. This one is a Sunrise Riker, and this one is very good. Maybe not quite ripe, but I'm making a video today. It's not got a funny bloom on it. It's got an interesting, unique shape to it. Sort of a bit like those sort of Glockenapple-y type ones. So it's very light and crisp and sweet. That is just fantastic. Could ripen a tiny bit more. The red bit looks good. Honestly, no one would find this apple, you know, bad as an apple. I'm not saying I'm trying to breed things that are sort of the mediocre, acceptable to everyone, you know, everything to all things to all men. But yes, it could have a richer flavour, but it's very hard to do that this time of the year. It does richen up a little bit if you leave it a little bit longer. I mean, there's loads of fruit on this. I think maybe this one's overcropped, but I've got loads of these trees now. But yeah, it is light. It's got that lightness and juiciness from and crispness from Sunrise, and it's just got more flavour and sweetness, which it's probably got from Riker, I assume. So it's an improvement on Sunrise in many ways. It's probably a healthier tree as well, because Sunrise gets scab quite badly, it gets mildew quite badly. So overall, it's not going to replace Sunrise, but if you like Sunrise, this is better. Buy this tree. No, I sold out of it last year because it was mentioned on Radio 4. So there are still some available, so please buy them. This is seedling 79, which is going to be a big deal probably one day because it's a very good apple. This is the big dog. This is seedling 82, which I named Primrose Pippin. That's a November apple as well, just like 79, so those aren't ripe yet. This one in between is right. This is number 80. Should really try this one. It's starting to go a bit soft, as you can see. That was one too soft. I'm gonna knock them all off. Birds are eating this. Look at that. Even birds are coming in and pecking this. That must be good. That's gone soft. That one's gone soft. Oh wow! Birds are eating this. I'm excited. If nature finds an apple interesting, it's got to be good. So that's seedling 80. I've not given it amazing points. I've said it's better than 67. Oh, it tastes like Haribo Tanfastics. It does taste like cherries. So it tastes like the cherry. There's cherry sweets that you can get in England. Or probably Europe, because that's where Haribo comes from. Let's try another one which is not as ripe, so it's not as soft. That's seedling 80 again. Yeah, 80. Again, that's a very nice apple. That's gone a little bit soft, but yeah, you could eat that. That's great. That is Tanfastics. Other big ones. This is seedling 92. That's going to be a big deal for me. Blah 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 blah. These Rubinola seedlings are not as good. I'm not. You know, you try things, they don't necessarily work out. This one, who are you? Sweet but not great. Is that? That's 128. So this is where an apple comes along. You think, oh, it looks great. This is when you breed something and you think, oh, it looks great. Look at that. You know, what could go wrong with it? Yeah, it's just lacking balance. You can't get it right. It's just too sweet. Again, too sweet. Pretty but too sweet. So that's 140. Which I didn't like. This one's interesting. Oh, look at these little oak apples. I think they call them that. This is one of the seedlings from the school next door. 145. This is quite clearly some sort of scrumptious seedling. It's an interesting early apple. I mean, not too different from the... It's got a pleasant flavour to it, not too different from the actual scrumptious, but not amazing. Finally, this seedling, this is 154, which is now on sale actually. This is called St. Helens. This is a very, very nice apple. I can't remember the parentage off the top of my head. Scrumptious. Someone. But yeah, this is really, really good. I won't pick one now because I might give them to the school, but that's a really good, solid apple. So I'm going to now scoot off Oh yeah, there was some. Oh no, that's too ripe. Idun. So Idun, which was the Nordic goddess, the keeper of the apples, and like youth, the apples. I think there's some Nordic story about if you eat apples, you stay young. That's what the gods used to do. There. I mean, it's not a particularly special. I think Idun is actually pronounced Itun, but the D is some sort of ancient letter that I don't know. We can't really pronounce. This is the variety called Surprise. So that's gone a bit. That's why it's a bit ripe. But yeah, it's one of these. Pink guys, it's almost ready. It's very sweet. I think the kids love this. It's a bit like Hidden Rose and the variety Sunburst, which is actually trying to make way in the world of apples. Let me just skip this and I'll get to the next row. Okay, we're back now. This is the last bit. I don't know how long it will take. So this variety down here, we don't sell this variety. So you don't have the rights to sell it. But I love this apple. I wish I could sell this one, as in sell the trees. This is called Julia. So this is like an early August, late July apple. Right, it's gone. There's a couple more. I was thinking of doing the video just to show this one. I have shown it in other videos. That's gone soft as well. Dolt. Okay, well this is, you're gonna have to trust me, this is one of the good. Oh, that one's all right. So there's literally no apple I really want to eat in early August. This apple is really, really good. I even got red apparently. That is a lovely flavour to it. It's not a Cox, so don't expect it to be like that. It's got this slight soft chewiness to it, which is just really nice. Some apples are very sort of crunchy. This one's not particularly crunchy, but it's a really interesting thing to eat in your mouth. You know, like you usually you want your apples to be sort of crunchy, you get that sort of sensation of it, but I think Julia does something else. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it, and flavor wise it's good for that time of the year. If you imagine that it's going to have sort of 3 months less ripening time than a lot of varieties like a Primrose Pippin, and yet I'm still sort of sold on it. Sadly, I don't know why I'm talking about it because you can't even get hold of it, but it's there. Dr. Clifford, Big Apple, not really sure. I imagine you cook with this. Yeah. Meow. So this is one of my favourite varieties. This is Norfolk Royal Russet. Oh, they even look good at this time of the year. That's unfair. Give the other apples a chance. So yeah, here we are. We're back at the Young American, which obviously does make me think of the David Bowie song. Oh drat! Hold on, let me change side. Okay, so here we are. There are some apples in this row. This weedy, horrible thing that I call a row, which I also wanted to talk about. What else are they? Pendragon. Ugh. Oh, there's some more Bethan apples. Maybe. There's more 23s. Yeah, so these were supposed to be planted across. These are basically M26s. Yeah, I've not weeded here in a while. This doesn't really matter too much. So in this other row, disgraceful. So there's a few interesting things here. This variety is Sweet William. I mentioned this on Instagram recently. It's an Irish apple. It's a lovely dark thing. It stays nice and firm, gets destroyed by the wasps. You don't get, not every apple gets that special treatment. This is a really, really good apple. So that is, it tastes like tropical juice. So if you imagine like a really cool smoothie, like a banana strawberry smoothie with all the, usually the orange one, they just chuck it in. I mean, children would destroy this. If you, and it's big as well, so you could peel it, or you could leave the dark skin on and just chop this up. Your children will annihilate these. They're that nice. I'm gonna keep this in my pocket. I don't give it to my kids. This other variety I was going to mention here, not all of this is basically a row of international, gosh, look at the weeds. An international like row of trees. So these are all varieties from, this is when I was thinking of expanding our variety range, and rather than doing multiple trips to Brogdale, which I really should have done, I decided to just buy, I don't know, 100 or so scionwoods, bits, 100 or so scions of different varieties that I'd found mentioned in like Joan's book, the Book of Apples, based on sort of, you know, research where I basically read her descriptions and thought, okay, she's not like slammed that apple. I mean, there is only so much you can say about apple that she's probably not enamored with, but she's saying, oh, it's interesting, or intense flavour or something. And generally speaking, you know, some are American, some are Dutch, some are from wherever. And yeah, there aren't that many amazing varieties in the collection, I don't know, of the things that I picked. So certainly the seedlings that I've got are more interesting. That I've, partly why I've sort of abandoned this bit right now is because, not abandoned it, I will use the seedlings, but there's more interesting, better tasting apples in random seedlings that I've created than there are in these sort of slightly forgotten, let's call them, varieties, in that there are examples of these in the National Fruit Collection, but no one's growing these at all. I've sold a few of them, but you know, I guess just to collectors. There are some American things in here which just aren't big in England, but there are, you know, obviously I guess you call them expats who are here, who are sort of, who want access to those, so they're buying them. But yeah, I'm finding that my seedlings are more interesting. Anyway, this one is called State Fair, which I thought was actually quite a good one. It's gone slightly soft, but it was a very pleasant apple about a week ago. But obviously it doesn't last forever. Oh, all that for nothing. Okay, let's race through the last row. There's a few here I wanted to talk about specifically. Don't really know. I don't really want to pick a Ruby Seabrook. Golden Knob is amazing. It's not ripe yet. Oh, it's a good apple. It's got very strange leaves, very small leaves, but it's a really good variety. This one here, seedling 108. That's going to be a good apple, I think. We've even got a name for it, but I won't release the name yet. As bless him, as Stephen Edholm always says, like, oh, I'm not going to say the name yet. I'm just not saying it yet because we haven't decided. The person who's naming variety hasn't decided which name she prefers. I spoke to her yesterday about it. Why have I stopped on this? James Lawson. This clearly isn't an amazing apple, but not quite ready. Don't know why I stopped there. Raisin. That's a cider variety. We're not going to eat it. That's like Stokes Red or something. Apples on the floor. Apples must be ripe. Oh, that's Ocene Desertone. Again, lovely stripy apple. I like the look of that apple in that I don't want to eat it necessarily, but I just think it is a really pretty apple to look at. A bit like the Benenden Early, but this is in many ways even prettier. Look at these little flecks on it. So, Osine Desert Tone, I don't produce many of these. Yeah, it's kind of sweet, but thick skin, a bit boring. Yeah, there's definitely a few here. There's another Bethan tree. Hey! Because, oh, there's the, so this variety, I think this is the Glocken apple. See, that's very sort of bell-shaped. Yeah, you need to have lots of examples of the seedlings. So that's another Hamid's Red, which is growing there. This is Ambersea. It's almost right. That's a lovely apple. So there's only a few left to look at, and one of them is here. This is Palmer's Rosy. So I think the name is very pretty. Palmer's Rosy. It's a rosy looking thing. Look at all those apples down there. Gorgeous things. Is that the right one? Let me pick another one. Okay, that one, yeah, the other one I picked was actually the wrong variety. This has got more of a stalk on it. So this is Palmer's Rosy. Ignore these little scaly things. Oh, don't spray enough. Because why would I? There we go. That is a pleasant summer apple. I think you can pick it throughout the summer, not throughout the summer, but throughout August. It's pretty. It does some things, but not everything. It's not got a particularly rich flavour. So this is Rosette, which is basically a very dark and red-fleshed version of a sport of like a mutant of Discovery. So very similar shape. This is a bit smaller. The tree's an M9. Don't know why Dad wanted to plant M9s for some reason. Next to M26s, they just don't perform. So very dark. Very dark inside. It's not as acidic as a lot of red flesh varieties. It doesn't really have anything else going for it because it doesn't really have any flavour. But yeah, it will be of interest to kids especially. It's not an improvement on Discovery, certainly. It says Red James Grieve. Pretty looking thing. So I think we're almost done. I'm just going to quickly march up here quickly. So this is where I grafted all my trees, as in chip budded them all. No, actually not all of them, there's more, but hard work was done here. If you can see it, it is still green from a bit of rain. We do irrigate them at the start of the year, but not there's no point irrigating after the first month or so once they're established, because they've got to survive on their own. Not an amazing apple. This is St Everard. I'm just straight off not interested in this apple, but I mean it's softer. It has got an interesting fruity flavour to it, but yeah, it's St Everard. No, thank you. That's the White Joe netting, which clearly isn't white, so I think that was actually the wrong variety. I forgot to look for the white transparent, but never mind. And that is it. So here are some trees that I'm selling. Actually, these are primrose pippin trees. You can see the apple trees have grown tall. So basically, when we grow apple trees, because generally we don't get much rain down south, my trees are generally not, apple trees are not generally massive, but this year the apple trees are doing very, very well because we have had some rain. That is one of the main things that affects how well trees grow, from what I've found. Basically how much rain they get. I can't do anything about that. You know? It depends what comes our way. So, and all of these here are seedlings. So if you're interested in all my seedling stuff, there's, I don't know, over 600 seedlings right here. They've all been grafted. They're starting to look at, if you look at the top of the seedlings, a lot of them, because this is after, so this would have been a seed that I collected in 2020, what is it now? It's 2025. This is 1 year of growth in 2025. It was grafted in 2024. So the seed I collected in 2023. These ones here are all openly pollinated, and then I started the stratification in 2023. I germinated them. They would have germinated around Christmas 2023. I immediately started growing them under lights and in the glass house, and basically they grew up to about 2 meters, and then I would have taken the very top of the tree like here and budded the top down here. If you can see, maybe not because of the shade. Yes, you can see about there. This is where I would have grafted them all. And then all of this grows. So I've cut off a lot of the lower branches, but basically when you plant a seedling, you get these tiny leaves, and every single node actually branches out in these horizontal branches. These are effectively juvenile defensive growth, so that if a browsing herbivore comes along, he bites this, she doesn't kill the tree. And you can see up here, those lots of nodes. All of this is branching out, which is very unusual, because if you look at flowering mature trees, they don't do any of that really. They don't do it at all. So these, a lot of them branch out, but basically once a tree gets big enough, essentially tall enough, and it's like, okay, now I'm a big tree, I can actually, rather than protecting myself, now I've reached the stage where I don't need to branch out anymore, and instead all the leaves are much bigger, you know, size of that leaf compared to the size of these leaves. That's when they hopefully start fruiting and flowering and then fruiting. So there's a percentage of these that look very mature already. So for example, this one's not even really branched out anymore, and it's always after a certain point they stop branching out. And that means that hopefully in 2026, after collecting seeds in 2023, in 2026 I should hopefully have some flowers and fruit on these, which will be pretty cool. And if I do, I'm certainly going to tell you guys about it, and that will ensure that anyone breeding has great advice as to how to do it much quicker. I mean, look at that, that just looks like a normal tree. That will probably fruit this year. I will actually even cut the tops off so that they are more likely to send out fruit buds, because I can't have them any taller. And I will put in some structural supports, because sadly when it gets windy these do actually start blowing over, because they're on M9, which if you've ever grown different rootstocks, you'll know that M9 and M27 especially are quite brittle, weak woods. So your trees can actually just snap at the graft union quite easily. It's just one of those things. If you've got a dwarf tree, you've essentially got an individual rootstock. The rootstock individual which was used is actually quite weak and brittle. They're not designed to last. They don't live as long. So you've got to look after them better than if you buy something on sort of M25. Anyway, that is me done. I'm going to actually do some stuff now. It's a very long video. Thanks for watching the whole thing. I'll do more, but I don't know when. Bye then.